Welcome, everyone. Today, Thursday, 18th of June, we have the amazing chance to talk and see and ask some questions, of course, to the great Brittany Lasch. Welcome, Brittany.
Thanks so much for having me. This is awesome.
Thanks a lot for your time, for your kindness. From the beginning, when I asked you, you were really positive. So thanks a lot for your time. How are you doing now?
I am good. It's nice weather. Teaching just ended, but as we were just talking about before we went live, it's still a little isolating, I think, for a lot of musicians because we're not playing much together or seeing many people at all.
That's true. Tell me something. Now you are located in Detroit.
Actually, I live just a little south of there. If you look at Detroit on the map and you go south 1 hour, that's actually the town I live in. It's the town I teach in, Bowling Green, Ohio. But I do play in Detroit, so
Okay, so and how long it take you to go from
just 1 hour, one road, very quick.
Okay, perfect. So, Brittany, tell me how's being at home 24/7 with your cats? I think all people know your cats. Um, and tell me, how's that experience?
There's pros and cons because a lot of my colleagues who have other people in the house, I'm alone just with the cats. So that's been nice to be alone. But like I said, it's a little isolating. I don't think my cats have ever spent this much time with me. And there were some lessons I was teaching to some of my students. And if I taught more than a couple hours a day, my cat started acting up.
Oh,
There was one day that one of my students got to hear me scream because my cat knocked over water all over the floor. He laughed and it was really funny, but I think they're kind of like children that you spend too much time together, we all go a little crazy.
so they kind of get a little bit tired of you playing the trombone the whole day at home.
Yeah, I mean they like the trombone as most people see from social media, but not all day every day.
Nice, nice. How many cats do you have at home?
Just two.
Just two.
Yeah.
Names? Just curious.
Fudge and sushi.
Fudge and sushi. I don't want to ask you, but perhaps you love sushi.
There's a longer story to that name, but I do like sushi.
Okay. No,
Somebody else named her.
we'll talk later about it. Brittany, the trombone, focusing a little bit
Mhm.
on trombone playing. What have you been doing? Your daily routine. What is Brittany doing at home when she gets up in the morning and take the mouthpiece, take the trombone?
That's an interesting question because when quarantine started in March to what I'm doing now, I have gone through the entire spectrum of practice. Because when quarantine started, I thought, oh my gosh, fantastic, practice time galore, practice, practice, practice. And I started working in fundamentals. I played the entire Alessi Arbin book start to finish, something I'd never done. I was working at Etudes, it was going great. Then I got a little fatigued, being at home, teaching. And then after that, unfortunately, I did get COVID. And so I was sick for a while. Luckily, I was just really, really fatigued and I slept all the time. So I wasn't really practicing, which for me is very hard. I've never gone through a period in my life where I took more than maybe 2 days off.
Oh,
So emotionally, that was a little hard to realize, okay, I can't play trombone. It's okay that I don't play trombone. But now that I'm coming back, again, I have the luxury of time. I don't really have any performances on the schedule with any guarantee. So I've been doing a lot of buzzing and long tones, trying to change my sound, some things that I wanted to work on before quarantine. And recently, some of you may have seen that I posted about this new book of solos that Sam Price printed out. So I just got a copy of that. And I've been playing through, they're great solos, mostly kind of undergraduate student pieces like the Gaber and Rimsky-Korsakov, those kind of pieces. So I'm spending some time right now working on those because as teachers, we teach most of that repertoire a lot. So that's kind of what I've been focusing on.
so now you are doing something that was kind of somewhere there in the trash bag or something like that, like waiting. Like, but that's good. You took your time, and now better now than never. Um,
Yeah,
Brittany, when was your last concert?
that's the last concert was a Tuesday night. I believe it was March 9th at Murray State University. And why I know this so much is because I was in residence there. Dr. Lee Kwong is the teacher, and fantastic studio. I was teaching them, and I gave a recital that night. And during all of the teaching and playing, I was getting emails from my university, we're shutting down. And at the time, it was only going to be 2 weeks, and it later became permanently for the rest of the semester. So I played that recital, and as soon as it was done, I thought, oh no, what if this is the last recital? And it was.
Wow. Must be hard. So since that moment, you were at home on your own with your gut, with your trombone. What was your first thought that you were thinking, oh, now I'm going to spend 24/7 at home. What should I do? Watching Netflix, some I don't know.
No, I did watch some Netflix. I started watching The Walking Dead because a pandemic hits. You start thinking, of that kind of stuff. But honestly, my first thought was, oh no, what are my students going to do? I hope they practice.
Talking about students, how many students do you have at the moment?
In the Bowling Green State University studio, there's approximately 17 students in lessons, from undergrads to doctoral students, and a couple different majors. Some performance, some education, some non-majors. But it's a big group.
Yes,
they're great.
Tenor trombone, right?
I'm sorry?
Just tenor trombones.
We have a few bass. We have a DMA student who doubles, and we have some specified bass students now, which is terrific.
Can you tell me again the name of the university conservatory? Bowling?
Yeah, Bowling Green State University. Bowling Green is the name of the town here in Ohio.
Bowling, that is nice. Nice name.
Yeah, it's cute.
Brittany, in the moment that you saw yourself at home, what about short-term goals?
Short-term goals, well, the sound thing. I'm sure everybody changes throughout the years when you play, both what you sound like and what you want to sound like. And I had been looking forward to the summer. I had some performing engagements, but I had some goals in mind that I was going to accomplish with my practice. And so I immediately put those at the forefront when quarantine hit. And part of that involved listening to a lot of singers and trying to emulate those phrasings. And also some of my favorite trombone players. I don't always get the most time to listen to trombone specific CDs. Oftentimes we're preparing the next symphony that we're playing, or the opera, or whatever. The other project I was working on is, hopefully, I have a very big recital in May 2021 in Philadelphia. And I was picking repertoire. And because the audience is not going to be trombone players, I was looking really hard to find beautiful repertoire that was hopefully original. So I was going through the Hickey's catalog and looking at every single piece, and either trying to find a recording online or on Spotify. So that's still ongoing, because I'm hoping that recital happens. So we'll see.
So it's May 2021.
Mm-hmm.
What was your focusing on that recital? Kind of Baroque music, classical music, some modern, contemporary composers? What do you think?
Actually, I was talking with somebody who's helping me put on the program. It's through Astral Artists. They're the management group I work with. And the composer, Dan Visconti, who works with them, he was talking to me about coming up with some kind of theme or idea that unified the recital. So instead of thinking all Baroque, all modern, whatever, some kind of universal theme. And at that time, this was probably late March, I said to him, what if I had a program that had to do with my experience in quarantine? And that's actually evolved. So I am building this program off of pieces that some of them only connect because of quarantine. Wow. So hopefully that'll be an engaging recital, because I do plan to speak a little bit, but like I said, I want it to be original music. So I'm trying to find lesser known trombone works.
That's an idea. Nice, really nice idea. I'm impressed. Nice to hear that. Looking forward to at least listen that concert. After the concert, for sure, it's gonna be like live streaming. I don't know. Nowadays, everything's gonna be like online live streaming. So we will see.
Exactly.
We'll
Yeah, I hope it gets shared because that'll be probably one of my first concerts after this. So
yeah. Since March 9th, you said?
yeah, I think that whatever the Tuesday of that week was.
Again, same circle. You were at home
Yeah.
since that day until now. What is the thing that you are missing the most?
Missing the most. Well, that's changed from day to day. But today I had a student send me some good news, really good news, and I can't share it yet, but hopefully soon. And it just made me so excited and so happy for them. And it was just kind of sad that I couldn't be there to see them in that moment, you know, maybe buy them a celebration dinner. Or then I realized I missed graduation. And I had 3 students graduate with their master's and 1 with their undergrad. And in that moment, it finally hit me, oh, I miss seeing the students, I miss seeing my colleagues. And throughout the course of this spring, there was all the operas that my opera company had to cancel. And every day I would look at the calendar and say, oh, today was today was opening night, you know, and kind of hurt to remember that what I could be doing. So I think I just miss interacting with other musicians the most.
Mm. What about other days? Perhaps you were missing going outside, going abroad, take a flight. I don't know, go outside.
Absolutely. Yeah. Same thing. I looked at the calendar. I said I would have been playing a concert. Actually, this week I would have been teaching a summer camp. Just all those dates you see. And even I run marathons. And during quarantine, there was 2 marathons that I couldn't run.
Wow.
And it's kind of sad because those are things you look forward to.
Hmm. What about your students? You said that they were graduating. How did it work?
As far as I know, they were simply given an online diploma until their real one was mailed. And hopefully at some point in the future, the university is going to have a ceremony, but there was nothing in person. So I hope they celebrated with their families, but you know, there wasn't the pop and circumstance, literally, that normally you get when you finish a degree. So I felt bad.
Mm. So no, like a portfolio or kind of a recital online, sending some recordings.
Oh, good question. There, first, the masters, they did have their exams through Zoom like this. And it was funny to give an exam like that with the committee and everything. But most of my students had done their recitals in the fall, thank goodness. So they were set.
Yeah, for sure they were set. We were talking about short-term goals. What about the long-term goals? You have something like before the quarantine, before the lockdown, you were thinking, oh, 2021, what should I do? Where should I go?
Yeah, I actually had a big project in the works, a CD project, because I haven't recorded anything. Well, I take that back. I'm currently editing a concerto, the recording we did in fall 2018. It's going to be released later this year. It's with the BGSU Philharmonia, the student orchestra, and it's the Theme and Variations by Martin Kennedy.
Okay.
But other than that, I haven't released anything solo. And so I was looking at a bunch of unfamiliar repertoire for trombone and string orchestra, and I was getting ready to make some proposals. And obviously everything's on hold. So I'm still churning through the repertoire and seeing what I like and assembling the documents, but I don't think I'm going to give them to anybody until ensembles actually come back.
Okay.
So, but hopefully you'll hear about that in the next year or so. Here's hoping.
Just leaving a little bit for a while the trombone in their case there, just press it. What do you think you're gonna do for the first after this quarantine? After, I don't know, sometimes for me, even for me, it's a little bit complicated to explain this question. We hope that medicine, they will find the vaccine, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise we cannot go outside without a mask, without it's gonna be like really, we have to live with the virus anyway. What do you think you're gonna do the first after this quarantine ends?
probably the first thing I'm going to want to do is use up all of the airline credit that I have because I had to cancel a lot of flights, including the one to Japan for the International Trombone Festival. And I was so excited to go back to Japan. So I'll probably look at my airline credit, look at a block of time and see what the cheapest flight is to the most exotic location and just go eat.
You can come here to Italy. I think food here is really good, and I think the government here are paying some people to come here for some holidays in the summer. But I don't know. I don't know if it's true. Yes.
Ooh. I'd love to come back. I was there for the Alessi seminar actually in Milan and Bolzano, but I flew into that city and the food was quite good. So I'm gonna look up and see if they are paying because that would be great.
I moved here time ago, and I'm totally agree. Food is amazing. Best country to find the best food. So
And vino.
yeah, and wine, of course. Talking about music, nowadays we see people, for example, here in Italy, there was a guy playing the trumpet on his balcony. Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. That was pretty cool.
Even in the BBC News, and then I was live talking with the guy on, I think was in Sicilia, and the guy didn't say any word in English, of course, but he was playing the trumpet. I think was a tune of the Beatles. I don't even remember anymore, but the point is, music became in this period really, really important for us as a musician and for all the people. What do you think people will think about the music? They will appreciate a little bit more the music after this period?
I think at first people are going to keep the apprehension of going to concerts in large spaces, and I understand that, but a lot of people don't realize what has kept you occupied during quarantine. Not just the people playing on their balconies, but listening to music and listening to TV shows and reading. Basically, art has kept us going. And so I look forward to some really creative programming after this is all over. And after a certain period of time, I do think people are going to yearn to get back to everything from pop to classical concerts. Because after a while, even for me, it's been a void. As a teacher and a player, you're playing so many concerts a week and in lessons, all that kind of stuff, and you're seeing so many. And I never realized how quiet things were in my day-to-day life without, I mean, I'm the only one making noise around me. So I do think after a time, people are going to really crave it. And I hope everything comes back to the way it was, perhaps even better than before, because we've had some time to look at our current orchestra models, especially here in the United States. Without government funding, there's been, I'm sure you've read in the news, a lot of the problems with some of our biggest institutions. So hopefully their administration's looking at this time off and thinking, how can we make it better when we come back?
Yeah, we hope so. I think as a musician, all of the world, we are thinking all the same. We are really like together in this moment, I believe. Brittany, what about videos? I mean, videos in the way that as a musician now, we have to live in social media. Are you active in social media, like YouTube channel, Instagram, apart to show to the world your amazing cats, of course?
Yeah, at the beginning of quarantine, I was posting a lot of videos informally, and pretty quickly then people got really good at video editing and the quality got better and better. And I kind of took a step back because I was more interested in like, here's what I'm practicing today, and posting a video of an etude, and it couldn't compare to the high quality ones people were putting out, things like Jim Nova overdubbing and all that. So I stepped back a little bit, and I didn't feel too bad about that because at the time as a teacher, I was still getting an income teaching at home. And I thought about the freelancers and other people who were out of work. And I said, let them take the center stage. And I still feel that way because, you know, I have a job to go back to in late August. And I feel very, very lucky for that. And not everyone does. So I think those videos are awesome. I did make one for my trombone studio. I had all of them play the alma mater, and I learned video editing. I learned how to use Final Cut Pro. So it was good for me to learn how to use that.
So now you are a video maker.
I wouldn't go that far. I know how to, but it took me a while.
Brittany, what about your equipment? I don't want to talk about trombone because I think people know what kind of trombone you play. It's kind of nerd question. What mouthpiece do you play? What trombone do you play? I want to play like you. I don't know. What about your equipment, Brittany, to use to do your own recordings at home, to show to your student, you should play like that? What do you use?
You know, when quarantine hit, I didn't have much notice that it was going to be the end, because what happened was the day that the school decided we weren't coming back, they told us at 5 p.m. the day before a break, and then I couldn't go back to the building. So I only have a Zoom and a bunch of Apple equipment, which is not what I would use for the most professional recordings.
Mm.
But I noticed that the new iPads, the iPad Pro, has a pretty good recorder if you prop it up right. You're the right amount from the screen, as far, the bell to the screen distance. And I made some pretty quality YouTube videos for my students. That's kind of how we worked this semester. They'd send me a video, I'd send one back, and then we would talk over Zoom, because I'm sure many teachers would agree that no matter what microphone you have, Zoom is not great for trombone lessons. So I wish I had a fancier answer for you, but that's what I made work. And this fall, the university is looking into some slightly better microphones for both the students and the teachers in case we do need to do some kind of hybrid teaching. I don't have confirmation on that yet. So
What about, do you think online education will stay with us after this?
in some capacity, I definitely think it will. There's a lot that can be taught online. Whether or not people learn the best from it, I think that's debatable. But I do think it actually highlights how special the arts are, because we really have to be with each other to do what we do, whether it's developing film, painting, and obviously playing in band or orchestra. It's a community event, and I never really realized how much so until we took it all away.
That's really true what you said. Yeah, I think it's going to happen. Your students, how do you work with them? They were sending you every single day a video, or you were having like a proper lesson, online proper lesson on certain day? How was your way of teaching online?
I kind of took each student individually. Some of them had lots of time, had a place to practice, everything was great. Some of them had to go work full time, and some of them were not allowed to practice in their apartment. So I had every type of situation. So I kind of tailored it to the student. And there were some students who kind of thrived on quarantine, and they would text me questions, and I'd send them a video response, and we would talk like every day. And in some ways they got more out of me than they would have gotten in regular lessons. And then there were some students where I simply had to say, please just send me what you can when you can. And a lot of what we were studying kind of went out the window because our school also chose not to have juries. Okay. So it was a little bit of a panic for us, but we did the best we could. A lot of them, one thing that we did do as a studio was 2 different trombone ID quizzes. So we learned about trombone players and their jobs, and little biographical information, all the big names and orchestra players and that kind of thing. So I think that was really good. I really feel like my students definitely should know the names of major trombonists.
Yeah, for sure. It's really important. What about you? Your personal opinion about the greatest trombone players nowadays? And now you had the time, you said before, you had the time to listen to them.
Oh, are you asking me who, or just about them, or?
Yeah, to be more specific, what have you listened at in the period? Trombone players, some pop music, some, I don't know, jazz.
Yeah, actually, jazz has been what I've been exploring, because I had a student who his career started classical and in 2 years kind of went jazz. So I started brushing up on all the great jazz trombone players just to be able to teach him better. And we had this project where he every week would transcribe a solo and also improvise for me in a key, and those were his videos. And then I would do it too, just to keep up, because I won't lie, I never had a jazz education in all my years of school. Everything that I've done has been either big band or, not soloing. So that's what I spend a lot of time listening to. And recently I got to play for Elaine Trudel, who is the music director of the local symphony here. And I also got to hear him play a jazz concert in March. He played with the Toledo Jazz Orchestra. So I started brushing up on his recordings because I'm a little biased. I do think he's terrific. So I was listening to a bunch of those, and particularly that alto trombone CD. It's terrific.
Yeah, I know Alan Trail as well. He was with us in Amsterdam, I think, 1 year ago.
Oh, cool.
It's amazing. As a teacher, as trombone player, as a person, complete package,
Good maestro too. Very much like playing for him.
Conductor, I like it. Brittany, you get asked from other people, Brittany, can you play with us? Can you send me this recording? You could ask for some other people to join their quartet, to join their ensembles.
You mean like subbing with orchestras?
No, nowadays, like for recordings, online recordings, some videos.
Not too many. My old quartet, my trombone quartet, we haven't played together in years, but we're trying to do something. But no, I haven't been asked by many people, which is both sad and also I appreciate it, because I feel like a lot of us, when we don't have too much to do, any amount of pressure, oh gosh, it's got to be perfect. So I haven't been asked to do too many projects during this, but I was lucky enough to be asked to do some online classes for other teachers, and they came and worked with my studio on Zoom, so that was fun.
I think it's also kind of okay if some people they don't ask you. You have your own time for your own to do your own things, own stuff. I think we are in the end of this really nice chat with you, Brittany. I have to say thanks a lot for your time, for this half an hour talking with me, sharing your ideas, sharing everything that you were doing. Sometimes we get a little bit too personal, but I prefer to just leave it for other occasion. Just the last question that I have to ask you, Brittany, is I have to tell you 5 things. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to reply each of them with just one word. For example, if I tell you trombone, what can you tell me?
Okay, is that the first one?
For example, it's a tryout. It's like we are trying this. Okay, Brittany, trombone.
Beautiful.
Okay, we start over again. You understood. For some,
yes.
They couldn't understand my question. Anyway, we start over again. Cat.
Adorable.
Music.
My purpose.
You said do, but purpose. Okay.
Okay.
Third one. Family.
I missed them. 3 words. Sorry.
Okay. Nice. Okay. For beer.
Wine.
Perfect. And the last one, future.
Performing. I hope.
We are looking for what this. I miss so much performing and playing with my colleagues too, the same as you. Thanks, people from Instagram. Thanks, people from Facebook. We see each other next time.